Hello YouTube, this is 19Bigfoot85 here. I don't know if any of you saw them before they were taken down. I did a few console overviews, but I ended up taking them down because they were not very good. Well, tonight I'm doing it again, but this time I hope it's a little different. This time we're going to be doing the Sega Genesis. This is my Sega Genesis Model 2. Sega Genesis was originally released in 1989 by, of course, Sega. Of course, it did not look like this. This is, like I said, a Model 2. Model 1s were bigger. They had a deeper cartridge port. Some even said high definition graphics about it right here. And it didn't have this kind of power button. That kind of, you know, pushing it in. It had the same kind of push in and out reset button, but it had a headphone jack on it for some reason. Don't know why. I guess if people wanted to listen to the sound really well, they could just pop their headphones in and start listening. But I'm sorry, I'm trying to adjust the lights in here. Anyway, take a look at the console. Have your cartridge port, just like most of the games and video game systems of the of the 8-bit and 16-bit era and beyond for some systems like the Nintendo 64. And you have two cartridge ports in the front, two 9-pins, which is the same pin out as an Atari controller, which is why you can use your Sega controllers as yes, your Sega Genesis controllers as an Atari 2600 controller. Yes, I realize it's on this blue, but that's because it's on my bed. Nice flashy Sega logo on it. Take a look at the back. We have your AV out and your AC in for power and AC. I have the cords, but I don't feel like showing them to you because I don't feel like digging them out. Well, and most of you who are watching this probably own a Sega Genesis and probably know what the daggum things look like. But yes, it is cartridge based, which is why sometimes it can suck and loads through the top, just like that. And they have Street Fighter 2. Now, mind you, growing up, I did have a Sega Genesis, and it was a Model 2. Then when I was about 6, I got my own. It was a Model 3, which actually happen to have right here. This is the self-same one that I had. It's basically the same thing, except it's made by Majesco instead of Sega. And they moved the ports to the side of it and sunk them in. Of course, it's smaller, so it saves space. Uses the same cartridge loading as the Sega Model 2 and Model 1s. Of course, I can't show you a Model 1 because I don't have one. Well, this one's even more different. It has a power up and down, but no light. Instead, it just gives you the little orange paint. Little push down reset button, kind of one of those kind of clicking sounding buttons. You know what I mean. But yeah, anyway, growing up, I had one of these things, or we did, and this is actually, again, the same one that I grew up with. I grew up playing. Go over there, play. We had back then we had a whole lot different games than what I have now. We used to have Joe Montana Football, Arcade Classics, Sonic 1 and 2, Ms. Pac-Man, maybe a couple of, yeah, we had Jeopardy, and Jeopardy Sports Edition. I think that's about it now. Now I've got about 11 games, which is more. Which 3 of the ones I just told you about I actually tracked back down, not the self-same ones, but I did find the games at a local Goodwill. But now I have World Series baseball. That's a pretty nice baseball game. Got Sonic 1 again, Sonic 2, Joe Montana football, which I grew up playing that all the time. Other games, as you can see, you already have right here, Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition. Not as good as the Super NES port, but it is pretty good, and I actually find it easier. Mortal Kombat, again, not as good as the SNES port, but still good. Revenge of Shinobi, that's one of the launch titles. Columns, you can't really tell just by looking with some of the older cartridges. Williams Arcade Greatest Hits. Now this is a 5-in-1. It has arcade games Defender, Defender 2, Joust, Robotron 2084, and Sinistar. Ms. Pac-Man with a beaten up label. And Sega Genesis X-Men. Now a little word of note: if you notice over the years how the boxes and cartridges changed, I started out with this black grid style and ended up with this red outline style. Well, that's just the way it went. These are actually the stylings of the launch title games. And well, I've already reviewed 2 of the games that I have, but like I said, they all load in the same. Oh, one thing I didn't show you on the system: you turn it over, this little piece of plastic right here, it comes off. It exposes this red cover. Pull it off, it exposes some pins. Those shiny pins are for the Sega CD, which people consider that a commercial failure, but I'm actually looking for a Sega CD so I can play a CD version of Mortal Kombat. I realize it's just like a rehash of the console version, but I don't really care. I got a controller, but I ended up burying it. Here's this is what I use mostly. This is a 6-button turbo pad. This is really, you actually have to have this thing with you or own just a regular 6-button if you plan on playing Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat 2 or 3 or anything after MK2. You have to have a 6-button, otherwise you just can't play it, because you got to have high punch, low punch, high kick, and low kick, and 2 block buttons for some odd reason. That's pretty much it. One good thing about the Sega CD is you don't got to worry about cartridges not working, because of course they're discs. It's got a laser. Better read, don't have to worry about pins wearing out. And as long as you keep the dadgum things in the cases, you don't got to worry about it getting scratched either. But that's pretty much it. I'll see you next time.